Yay, I'm live. Yeah, I'm going to go straight into my story tonight. I'm going to try and screen share again. But yeah, I hope you're all okay and you're having a good weekend. Let's just go. Hi everyone, hope you're okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go straight into my screen share. I'm going to see if I can do this right. Let's have a look again. Mickey Mouse, thumbs up to you. Big respect. Bless you. Well, I'm going to hope this works again tonight. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to start off with this photo. I'm going to keep me to the side, I think, and no, I'm going to put it on full and tell the story a little bit. But tonight's live is about a lady called Sandra Melgar. She's serving a life sentence for her husband's murder. But I'll briefly sort of go into a bit of the background and the story. Jim and Sandra Melgar there both were childhood sweethearts, and they married a year after leaving school. I'm going to see if I can, yeah, let's go to, I'm going to try and do this, sorry. Yeah, so they were childhood sweethearts, you know, they were in love. They married a year after leaving school, and they were together for 32 years, bless them. They had a daughter called Lizzie. She was born in 1985. Sandra was a nurse, but before she left her job, she became medically ill. Let me just do a few more. Let's go back because I really want to share some photos. I'm getting better at the screen sharing as well. This is Sandra and Jim a few years on. You know, they were together for 32 years. Yeah, so it just helps sharing the photos. You get a bit of the story. There they are again together. I'm just checking that it's working. Yes, brilliant. And they had a daughter called Lizzie together, bless them. And they were together, I think I said, for 32 years. Let me do this one. Yeah, so I'm going to carry on with my story now a little bit more. But yeah, so Sandra became like medically ill. She was a nurse, but she became medically ill with lupus. She suffered with arthritis and was in need of, I think it was 2 hip replacements. She had been confined to a wheelchair in the past because of this. Her body would ache. She would be in like severe pain. And she just sort of like was left like with like help with a walking stick, you know, to be able to walk because of her arthritis and her lupus. She also suffered with epileptic fits, seizures, and you know, so she had to give all like her job up being a nurse, which she really enjoyed. But as Jim, her husband, worked in like buying properties and selling them, they became like into a partnership in this as Sandra like resided at home. So they started selling properties together, and they both were doing really well, you know, in their business. And they were thinking of like both retiring soon, you know, as they were getting older. They were doing really well. And they just wanted to like spend more time together and like see a bit more of the world. So it goes back to the night of December the 22nd. This was in 2012. Can everybody hear me okay? I just, because I know yesterday my volume was quite loud. The day before Jim and Sandra's 32 years wedding anniversary, they both arranged to go out for a meal, a Mexican, together to celebrate their anniversary. They went out, they arrived back home. It was about midnight. They arrived home. I'm going to show you, you know, that's their home. I know this is in daylight, but it's the only picture I could get. They arrived home, like it was approximately about midnight at night. They decided to both get into the jacuzzi. They were celebrating. They had strawberries. You know, they were really having a nice time together for their wedding anniversary. And that's the jacuzzi that they were in on December the 22nd, 2012. Thank you, Steve. Oh, mate. Big respect, mate. So yeah, on the night, they put the jacuzzi on and they got in, and a little while after of them both being in the jacuzzi, Jim said, "Oh, the dogs are barking downstairs in the back," because the window there, that's like, that leads to their backyard, so they could hear the dogs like sort of coming from that direction. So he sort of like got out of the jacuzzi and went to see what the dogs were barking at. And after a while, Sandra sort of wondered sort of like what was taking Jim so long. So she got out of the jacuzzi and she went into her closet, and I've got like a map of their home, and I'll show you at the end, because you'll understand it so much more. It's like, you know, she got into her closet to get dressed, and then she doesn't remember anything, nothing, until waking up with her hands tied behind her back, her legs were tied. And the next day, Jim's brother and sister-in-law and their daughters were invited to go round for the anniversary meal at about around 4:15 p.m. So they knocked on the front door and there was no answer. They didn't have no response to any texts or calls. So Jim's brother would go round to the garage and saw that it was open. And he went into the interior door, which was open. He walked into the house and let his family in through the front door. Sorry, my dog needs to go out again. She keeps doing this when I'm doing a live. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry about that. Yeah, so he let his family in through the front door, and he could hear like, help me coming from upstairs. So as he went upstairs, I'm just going to do another photo. Let's do, where are you? Yeah, as he went upstairs, he see a chair pulled up beside the door that was Sandra was like shouting help me from. So he moved the chair, he opened the door, and Sandra was in there tied up. And this, if you can see the blue dressing gown sort of thing on the floor, the purple tie was what her arms were tied with round on her back. But Jim's brother said that they were tied so tight that he had to use scissors to cut them off her. He just couldn't undo the ties. So yeah, so sorry, I'll be back in a minute. You pick your moments, you two. Wouldn't be alive, would it, without this happening, would it? You couldn't have done it half an hour before. No. I'm sure my dogs have ADHD, I really am. But yeah, so sorry about that. It's more. Yeah, so obviously when Jim's brother sort of cut Sandra free, she sort of ran around frantic looking for Jim, and he was laying in his closet on the floor, really like just really, you know, he was pronounced deceased sort of thing when the paramedics arrived. And she was just sort of screaming, please wake him up, wake him up. But when the paramedics arrived, you know, they were the first to attend, the Malgars, and they checked Sandra over. She explained her head was hurting on one side and her body was numb and aching on one side. And it was just like it would have been just like she just had like a seizure. So when the paramedics got to Jim, you know, they pronounced him deceased at the scene, and he'd sustained like serious of injuries to his skull, his eye sockets. He had internal injuries. He had been stabbed 33 times with this knife here from the family home. I'm just checking that I can still see. Yeah, with this knife from the family home. He had defense wounds where they said that he really tried to put up a fight with his attacker or attackers, and this was coming from like the paramedics. You know, he had like major like defense wounds. He put up a fight. But Sandra, she didn't have a single injury on her apart from the bump on her head, and like she didn't even have a spot of blood or Jim's blood or DNA, nothing. You know, she had a few bruises. I'm just gonna do another photo. This was the knife in the jacuzzi. The knife from the home was found in their jacuzzi. And, you know, Sandra didn't have any blood on her at all, any of Jim's blood. She didn't have like any scratches on her hands. There was nothing, you know, and to be putting up a fight, you know, defense wounds, you know, to me, I feel she would have had just something. You know, she had these bruises here, but that's like someone's grabbed her to tie her arms back, like she was explaining. But yeah, and yeah, it's just really, yeah, just really sorry, my dogs. You know, if you look at Sandra there as well, you know, she's frail. I'm not saying that anyone, you know, like that couldn't have done it, but I just feel, you know, with not having a single DNA of blood or anything on her, I just feel she's innocent, you know. But yeah, so the next day she was took to the station for questioning, whilst her daughter Lizzie travelled back to Houston. This was in Houston, Texas. And this is where basically, you know, Sandra's interrogation began. The police felt, I believe, she had done it from like the beginning. You know, she'd covered it up as a burglary gone wrong. But I'm going to try and screen share a bit of her interrogation in the police station. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to come back and say hello. Hello, Donna, big love, beautiful. Aljandro, big respect. Let's go up. I know I'm cutting into the live, but am I waffling? It's just, you know, Mickey Mouse, thumbs up. Steve O'Mac, my best friend. One of my best friends, anyway. Got quite a few. Yep, quickly. Right, I'm going back down. I'm going to try and screen share again because I just want to play this, but it did echo. No, that's mine. Is that it? Let's see if that's the one. Yeah. Okay. Right. Can everybody hear this, or is it echoing?
Black out. At exact time when he's getting stabbed and bludgeoned.
I don't have an answer for you.
Multiple times like that. Dying, screaming for help.
Oh my gosh. Just,
I don't understand that. That's ironic. It's a lot of blood that he lost. And wherever he encountered them before you did. Before they came and knocked you out. So I think there was ample opportunity for you to hear something and nothing. And you're saying nothing. I mean, you could have a heart attack running in the bathroom and you'd hear that. That's what I don't understand. Could you hear him?
no, I couldn't hear him.
Could you hear him yelling for help?
No,
Could you hear him screaming
I didn't hear him.
when he was in pain? We know that. He suffered a lot. I need you to help me. I need you to help me. I need you to help me on this. Can you help me? I need you to help me. Sandra, can you help
I
me?
didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
I need help, Sandra. Please help me. Screaming after screaming after screaming, he's in pain. I need help. Help me, Sandra. Help me.
Right, I'll just briefly carry on a little bit. Let's cut that one off. But yeah, so obviously like her interrogation sort of started, they put her in a cold room. You know, to me, she's just had like, you know, a hit on the head, a seizure, concussion, you know, and this is the next day. And because she didn't cry, you know, people are in, like some people can be in shock, you know, she's probably in shock what's happened. She's still confused, you know, because she didn't cry the next day because her husband was, you know, stabbed like to death. You know, I just think, you know, they just assume too quick, you know, sort of thing. But yeah, I'm gonna screen share again and carry on with the story. But yeah, big love, Donna. Peace out, sweetie. Right, let's go back. Is that the one? Yes. Okay, right. So obviously, you know, she's been in the police station. They've interrogated her. You know, they felt that she had done it. And it couldn't have been anybody else, you know, no forced entry, even though the brother-in-law got in the next day through the garage, through the interior door. you know, and Jim was also found near his gun in his closet. So to me, you know, the police were saying, oh, they felt that he wouldn't shoot his like spouse, that he didn't want to shoot his wife. But to me, I felt, you know, maybe he was going for the gun, and that's where his attackers attacked him. You know, maybe he was trying to get to the gun before they got to him. You know, but yeah, I think I'm getting quite better at this. Yeah, so 19. But yeah, her interrogation keeps going on. This was part of the closet where Jim's body was found. There was blood on the walls near his gun. There was blood on the safe handle. The gun was on top. I couldn't get a photo of that one, but the gun was on top of the safe, but you can see blood on the handle there. But yeah, and they also said, you know, they heard the dogs barking, but Sandra didn't hear her husband being attacked. You know, even though the hot tub was in the room where Sandra's closet was, because I'll show you at the end on the map, because you'll understand it a bit more better that way. But yeah, you know, before she was hit on the head, they interviewed her the next day, and because she didn't cry, it must have been her, you know. So yeah, and you know, and like I said before, people deal with grief differently. You know, so she must have felt really sort of like, you know, concussed. She didn't know what was going on herself, really, you know. But yeah, 21. Okay, so you see the blood on the safe there. That had two. So in their property, they had two other people's DNA. So two other people's DNA was found in their property. One came back to a male's, and the other came back to a female's. And the female's one was in her mid-20s to 30s. There was fingerprints on Sandra's handbag, purse, money was taken. There was a TV stolen. There was quite a few things that was taken. You can see, but the police thought Sandra had staged this burglary. So even though there was two other people's DNA in the house on the items, they still felt that she staged this murder and this burglary as a burglary gone wrong, because the drawers weren't thrown across the room, I think one of them said, and because they were just pulled out like that. And I just think, you know, that is so sloppy, really. It's just, you know, an innocent. I feel she's innocent. I'm not saying, you know, I know you can't be 100% sure, but I just feel like she's really innocent on this, you know. And the poor woman, you know, they didn't have no money issues. There was no, like, they were together for 33 years, you know, that they were thinking of retiring. They went through their phone records. He wasn't having an affair. She wasn't having an affair. And when it came to the news crew being outside the property, one of the news crews approached the police and said, a man has approached us and he's acting really like weird. He's acting quite, you know, like quite dodgy. Something's not right. Can you just look into him? And this bloke that the news crew were on about, his name was called Chad, and he'd just been released from prison, I think 4 days prior to burglaries, violence, and the police visited his home address, and because he didn't answer twice on the same day, they left a card, and he never got back to him, but they never sort of like went on further, like they never went and got any more information from him, what he was doing on the night. They just didn't do nothing because they felt Sandra was guilty, you know, from the get-go, really. So on that day of Sandra being questioned, the police wanted to charge her that day with murder, but because there wasn't enough evidence, I think it's the prosecution? I think they said no because there wasn't enough evidence. So yeah, so she sort of came out. Her daughter was there. Her daughter and her were just like, her daughter, to this day, there is actually a Facebook page of Free Sandra Melgar, and there's a woman, an attorney woman. She done, I don't know whether you've ever heard of Stephen Avery making a murderer. She is actually fighting for his innocence. She's a really like good attorney, you know, if she thinks you're innocent, she wouldn't take it, sort of thing. But the next day, the daughter even went to the police with a list of stuff that had been stolen, and she'd actually found a rucksack under the garage, under the car in the garage, with jewelry in it. So obviously where the attackers have just done a quick runner, they've probably just chucked it under there, or they were going to go back for it, I don't know. But yeah, you know, it's just sad how they just assumed her straight away, you know. But in 2014, a year and a half, that's when they went back to arrest Sandra for the murder of her husband. It went to court. The prosecution basically didn't have no facts, nothing, you know. They were just basically saying this is what happened, and she done it, you know. And that's it, really. You know, they felt that she lured Jim into tying him up into sort of like some sort of, they said, sex game, and then took him by surprise with a large knife from the home. And you know, and then she just sort of stabbed him to death. You know, that was their motive. And you know, their motive was basically a sexual game gone wrong. You know, even though Jim had all them defense wounds, you know, and they said that he put up a big fight, he really did, you know. And you see, like Sandra, she had nothing apart from bruises on her arms, where you would get if somebody was like grabbing your arms, you know. They said the crime scene was staged because the drawers were pulled out, as you can see there. You know, it was just, it's just, I don't know, even though that there was cash taken, the TV was gone, money from Jim's wallet was gone, and so was Sandra's, you know. Even though she had multiple health issues, you know, she had no blood on her, no DNA from from Jim at all, nothing, you know. But they said it was her, that was it. And in August 2017, Sandra Melgar was found guilty, and she was sentenced to 27 years. I'm going to show you a video of what the prosecution felt Sandra done when she staged the murder as well. Hi, back again. Right, let's try. Right, this is what they said when she locked herself in the closet. This is what they felt she done. So she done that, like, that's what they said that she done in the closet. That's one of them. I'm just going to do another one. I'm sorry if I'm waffling, but yeah, I think I'm getting better. I hope I am anyway. Yeah, and this is the other way of tying her hands up. So they reckon this is what she done when she tied her own hands up in the closet. This was the prosecution's, this is what they got her on, the jury. I mean, but even though nobody even went back and questioned Jim's brother, no police officer even went back and questioned his brother, thinking he was the first one to go to that property the next day, and he was the one on the scene, the first person. Not even one police officer went back and questioned him, and he was the one that said that Sandra's ties were so tight that he had to use scissors to cut them from her. He just physically couldn't undo the knots that were on there. I'm just going to let my dog out, sorry. So yeah, so, you know, and they didn't even question him, you know, and they used them two pieces in the court in her as prosecution to say, well, she pulled the chair back, she tied her own arms back, you know, but not one person went and questioned Jim's brother, considering he was the first one to go there. And he walked through that garage through an open door, but because they said there was no false entry, she had to have done it. And this woman, I'm going to show you her. I don't know whether you know her, but she done the Stephen Avery. I'm back on there, sorry. Let's go back. Yeah, that's another piece that was in the home. And this lady on the right, and that's Stephen Avery on the bottom. I don't know if any of you have ever watched Making of a Murderer. Just letting my dog back in. Do pick your moments. Lay down. Lay down because you're muddy. Good girl. Yeah, so she's now took on Sandra's case, and there was a guy that her defence team, they brought in a guy called Billy Belk, his name was, and he was a police officer, and he had 22 years experience, and he had solved over 500 murder cases. You know, he had solved all of them, and he even said that he went to the crime scene, he heard how loud the jacuzzi was, he went into the closets, he examined all the pieces of evidence, and based on all of his experiences and his analysis of the case, and you know, he said how bad that investigation was of what they done to her. But yeah, so even, you know, a police officer that has done, like, solved over 500 murders, you know, even stated that, you know. Am I still live? I came off. I need to. Am I still here? Because I sort of came back out of my live and I shouldn't have done that. I pressed the wrong button because I'm such a numbnut. Yes, she's improving in these. Thank you, RJ. Big respect to you. I don't know if I'm still live or if I've cut it off. But I'm going to keep it going just in case. I'm nearly done now. Get my paperwork. Yeah, nearly done. Am I back? Sorry, there's a bit of a gap in there. But thank you for coming in, you three. Big love and respect. That's all I need. But right, just a couple more photos and then I'm done. I'm not going to press the wrong button now. Don't press the wrong button. Ooh, please tell me if you can see it. Oh, can you see it? It's back. Right. Okay, right. That's the, and I'll show you the last one. Oh no, there's one more. She actually done a reward. The lady Kathleen who done the making of a murderer, who thinks that Sandra's innocent, she actually put out a £20,000 reward for anybody to come like forward. So because she feels that the people that killed Jim are still out there and they need to be caught, and so they do, you know, if they're out there. Their DNA is in that house and the police didn't even check, you know, and it's just sloppy. But yeah, I'm going to go on to here now. This is where can I zoom? I can't zoom, can I? Oh, I'm going to try and zoom. I don't know if I can zoom. Let's see. No. Oh, I'm really messing this up tonight. Oh, God, I'm going to get the gist, though. I'm going to try and show you. So this room here is where the jacuzzi was. So if you've got a jacuzzi going on so loud, this bit here is where Sandra's closet is. So she would have got out of the jacuzzi and gone in there, where Jim would have walked all the way through that bedroom there. He would have walked there to go and see why the dogs were barking, I think here. But he was found here. His body was found here or here. So, you know, if you've got a jacuzzi going on in the background and you've gone into a closet there and your husband has come running in because he may have seen the attackers, you know, he's going for his gun. You know, that's the first thing he's probably going to go for because he's going to protect himself. You know, I don't feel Sandra would have maybe heard that going on if they had their hands over him, you know, if they were holding it. You just, you know, but I feel she's really innocent and you know, there's a description in below, there's a Facebook page. I know majority don't like Facebook, but you know, there's a Facebook page that you can like and join, and just sort of, you know, that extra like just helps to try and support, like, free her, you know, because I really think she's innocent. I know that, you know, she's been proven guilty for it, but I think there was five that of the jurors that said she was guilty. There was 4 that said not guilty and the others were like inconclusive or something. And what swayed it for the jurors was because she had her seizures under control because they brought the doctor's notes in, because she had her seizures under control. So she hadn't had a seizure, she hadn't had a seizure, she hadn't had a seizure. It was all like controlled. That's what one of the jurors said. I've got like a video of it, but you know, I won't anymore. But yeah, yeah, I mean, you know, you can be hit on the head and it can bring on a seizure. You know, it just doesn't mean because she had him controlled, doesn't mean that that hit to the head didn't trigger a seizure off. But I feel she's innocent. You know, if you think she's guilty or innocent, please leave your comments below. I'd like to hear you, like, see your comments, not hear your comments, because I listened to that the other day. But yeah, thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, so Mickey Mouse would say. Big love and respect to everyone. Steve-O, RJ, Alejandro, Mickey Mouse, Donna, big love and respect to you all. Good blow kiss tonight. Peace out.